It's weird. You knocked, and like I was waiting for that to load on my couch. Um, but I wondered, like, I wonder if you knocked because I'm saying like, well, memories are what I have instead of life. I'm like really in your thing, which is amazing. Thank you for allowing me to participate. But memories is what I have instead of life. But a lot of my memories have like, say something about the political situation. Like people like I'm always talking about my friend Sabrina. Always a lot of people like that. Who they finish high school, but like that's they when I say they're educated, mean they finish high school. Most people they're from like don't finish high school. They don't have any like they don't have any money. They don't um get arrested a lot. But they're not bad people. In case my friend Sabrina, she's like a serious Catholic, but she like get arrested. This sort of type of person. But here's the thing: it's the type of person that you would hope that that you'd expect. Um, you know, the party that you would expect the society and the political class to like work out what to do about the incredible population of people who see. Remember, like there's no real left in mainstream politics as part of the problem, but like people say, well, like I mean, like manufacturers go on unions are crushed by threats to transfer production overseas. Now it's like they become like you know lost much of their power and but here's the thing. But then there is this sort of like the what a Marxist would call it, this sort of like lumpen, like the sort of lumpen quasi criminal class, like people who are like desperate for money, don't have any money, like don't. This is what we said they should, like reproductive rights like should be extended so that anyone, if it's like a girl living in the streets or something like that, like gets pregnant or like prostitutes, like people like doing things that are desperate for money, like they need to be able to get an abortion no matter what the sort of middle to upper classes and then the like political class like want to make an issue like that of football. No, like people who are in bad situations like that, right? And the rules of this like mainstream, basically privileged political debate are sort of off, and like such people need help. It's kind of like the food stamp thing. People wouldn't be living on food stamps unless they were desperate. But when it comes to this healthcare thing, I mean, those are people. I always tell the story, like anecdotally, like you know, my friend Sabrina got really sick, like she was throwing up. Went to the hospital. I mean, it's not just that she couldn't pay the bill. She couldn't pay the bill. They just, had to be a night in the hospital. She's throwing up, like, from like, it was like something in the house, like, it's swampy there. Yeah, she couldn't pay the bill, but the bill was in the emergency room was also exorbitant. Right? I mean, public health care and stuff like is not available for such people. Um, but like what is their perception? Like I mean, I always joke around. It's not satiric, but it sounds it like. I asked like I said, well, what do you like what do you think of I asked people like that what they thought of the president and stuff, and they correctly like don't feel part of the process. Don't assume they perceive the politicians, the president, are talking to someone else. They're not talking to them. She said, like, you ask, people like that, or like her friend Nick, like, ask, what does he think of, what happened with healthcare? I mean, they're like left out of it in a way where they're just like, but why they're left out of it is if you only finish high school and you're like, in the case of my friend that I just, like, from Nick, like, we're working at restaurants and stuff, but like, this kind of debate, the privileged sector, privileged enough to be in the political class, like the pundit class, commenting on what's happening with healthcare, like, what do people perceive who really need public health care? Like, who now can sign up but are, like, being told, like, the website being down indicates, like, the total failure of, like, this president and, like, healthcare. That's what they're being told, like, oh, it didn't work. Like, like, oh, did you sign up for the. It's such a person, like, oh, did you sign up for the, public health care, like, people are getting it. It's like really affordable, and they would say like, "Oh, I thought that crap didn't work." I mean, there's like people. There's a huge population of people that are like this whole fake conversation that the political class is having, the fake argument, what goes on at these universities where students like take what they're the political class and the television tell them is real, and like try to have an intelligent opinion about it. Um, this is all just not. This is all just going on while people who are like, really do need to do something other than just go to an emergency room when they're really sick and like live out their whole life with no health care when their lives were already difficult and like they live on food stamps and stuff. Their perception is rightly that this is all just like stuff like I don't know, rich people are talking about and politicians and stuff. It's just like not something that's for them, but or meant for them, or they don't really care. Or like, oh yeah, I heard that website doesn't work. I mean, that's what the tragedy also is of like this game that like our media and the propaganda system everyone plays. Who really gets harmed is like people who are living like it's, and rightly because it's correct, it's like depression times for huge parts of the population everywhere. They're tent cities. These people, like those kind of people, they don't vote. They don't they figure it's not the whole conversation leaves them out. But that would be, you need a political party to be worried about. There's more and more, some mass of people living like it's the Dust Bowl, and then there's one class, there's a social class up from that is like all in debt, and then there's like what appears to be like a person's like a narrator who like it looks like the Middle Ages from where I'm looking. So, but it is though. So the LaRouche movement says like this is the exact like structure of things during the Dark Age. But I don't know why you knock sometimes. I'm waiting for that to load and like I don't know. Think about my old friend. I'm sorry I'm like sort of sad in your thing sometimes. It's just I really want to help, but also like sometimes I miss like the old Earth, and then I'm new on the new Earth. I don't like know how. I'll get used to it, but it's just like I'm new here.